Alright, thank you for clicking on this video, and today we are going to be looking at changing the rear wheel bearing of the Ford Ecosport, which is also very similar to any other cars with rear drum brakes. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so before we start, let's talk about the symptoms of a wheel bearing issue. Alright, so what will happen is that when you drive and at certain speed, you will hear a droning sound, something like from the car. Alright, that is not normal. Alright, and as you drive faster, it gets louder. Then when you slow down, it gets softer. Alright, that is usually the symptoms, the most common symptoms of wheel bearing being faulty. Okay, so to check which wheel bearing is faulty, because we have 4 wheels, right? Okay, is that you need to jack up every side of the car one by one, and you turn the wheel and see which one is making noise or which one is not spinning freely. Okay, so for the case of this EcoSport, I've determined that it was the rear wheel and on the driver side. Okay, because the rest all spins very smooth except for this. So I'm gonna show you what it sounds like. Okay, but first, before we jack the car up, since this is the rear wheel, we will need to choke the front wheel. Alright, because once we jack the rear wheel up, the handbrake no longer works. Your car can easily roll away. Okay, so what I'm going to use to choke the car is just some pieces of wood, one at the back of the tire and one in the front of the tire. Okay, and since I have additional one more piece, I'm gonna choke the other side as well. Alright, then we'll jack the car up and I'll show you what it sounds like. Okay, so try to listen to the sound as I turn the wheel. Okay, and I'm gonna try turning it faster now. Okay, so to fix this, obviously the first thing we need to do is remove the wheels. And what we'll do is we'll put the tire underneath the car just for additional safety, and make sure you're on jack stand. Do not use your hydraulic jack to support the car. Alright, because there will be a lot of hammering, there will be a lot of whacking, so there will be a lot of force applied. So make sure you're on jack stands. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do right now is there's a screw hole here. There's 2 here, but these are not threaded. Only this is threaded, so we will need to find a bolt that fits into here, bolt it in, and it should push it out with a little bit of convincing from a hammer. So let's search for a bolt that fits here. Alright, okay, so I've managed to find a bolt that actually fits, so I'll be tightening this. And the best place to find a bolt is usually the engine bay. Alright, just go around and see which one fits. Alright. Okay, simple. and you have a lot of dust here, so be careful on that. Okay, next up we have four 13mm bolts to remove, which is on the back here. Alright, there's 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the bottom. Alright, so yeah, you can see it over here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alright, so to do this you need a long extension. This is probably not even long enough, so I'm gonna use 2 extensions. Alright, okay, so use the breaker bar to loosen it, and then we use the ratchet with the flexible extension to take it out. So I'm done taking out 3. Let's take out the last one. And we got it out. Okay, so we have the old rear wheel bearing and the new rear wheel bearing over here. So let's do a comparison. Okay, 4 holes, 2 stationary holes. I don't know what's it called. Okay, and you can see here, this you can listen, there's no sound. Whereas on O1, a bit hard to hear, but the sound is there and it's much looser on the O1. Alright, so let's see, the original code is Fomoco D dry JACPI da 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 da. Okay, 2014-10-28. 2014-03-18. I think this is more towards the manufacturing date, which is 8 years ago. Alright, alright. This is something that is manufactured 8 years ago. Wow. Okay, so to install it back, we just need to put it back here and then use the 4 bolts again. Alright, make sure you don't hit this. This is your ABS sensor. Alright, these are the 2 positioning bolts I was talking about over here. Alright, this and this. Alright, there's no threads in there. Alright. Okay, so we will need to torque the 4 bolts over here to 130 to 135 Newton meter. So let's get to that. And as luck would have it, it started to rain. So I'm gonna try to get this done as fast as possible. Alright. Okay, set to 135 Newton meter. Okay, so now that that is done, what we'll do is we'll put back the hub and then bolt it back up. And for this, we will torque it to 110 Newton meter. Alright, that's the end of the video, and that's how we changed the rear wheel bearing for the Ford Ecosport and a couple of other Ford models as well. Alright, I like changing this rear wheel bearing because it's actually held on by just 4 bolts and it just pops out. Alright, whereas other cars, it's a bit more difficult. Alright, there's 4 bolts, then after that you have to use a slide hammer to actually try to get it out and wrestle it out. So those are more difficult. Though I have not done one yet, but I will be doing it for the Proton Inspira soon. So I'm gonna have fun with that. Alright. Okay, so let's talk a bit on this. How long it took to actually complete this DIY? Roughly about 45 minutes. Alright. Most of the time was actually spent on finding the correct bolt to remove the brake hub, and also finding the correct angle to remove the 4 bolts at the back there. Alright, because while it may look straightforward, but the spring is actually in the way. Alright, so some of the bolts you need to use a long extension, some of the bolts you have to use a short flexible extension. Alright, okay, so the problem that I had with this rear wheel bearing was that it was coming out with a very annoying sound, the woong, 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 and as you go faster it goes louder and more consistent. Alright, so after changing this, it was better. I shouldn't be saying better, I should be saying that the sound is gone. Alright, after I changed the rear wheel bearing, the sound is gone. I'm not too sure how well you could actually hear the sound when I was doing the test in the beginning of the video, but when I use my finger to spin it, there is this clicking sound coming out from the bearing, right? And as I turn it faster, the clicking goes faster as well, right? But with the new bearing, that sound is gone. Alright, so that's a good thing. Alright, now how much did this bearing cost me? Alright, this bearing cost me not roughly, but exactly 380 ringgit. So that's roughly about $80 to $90. Alright, so it's original Ford Motorsport, Ford Motor Company. Alright, as you can see in the video, it's stated there for Moco. Alright, as to the date that is there, I don't know how true is that. I highly doubt they will keep a bearing in the store for 8 years. That's a bit odd. The car's only 7 years old. The bearing is older than the car. Doesn't make sense to me, right? So maybe that is not the manufacturing date, but it's a different set of number, serial numbers or whatever. Alright. Okay, so that's the end of this video. As usual, I hope you are subscribed. If you are not, please do, because every subscription counts. And make sure you hit the like and the bell button for this video. Alright, share this with your friends if you want to. Till next time, I will see you again.